So I've been doing these videos, these journey videos, for almost a month or more than a month, and I just realized today that I haven't shared one of my greatest passions. And if we are documenting rather than creating, then we have to share that passion, and that is, of course, the New York Yankees. I've been a Yankees fan for more than 20 years, probably 25, 24. It's my longest relationship, I have to say, other than my parents, of course. And there's just something about being a sports fan. Many of you can relate, some of you can't relate. That's okay. There's something about being a sports fan, the excitement that you get out of really following a team, the highs, the lows, the caring. I think it's a hugely positive experience in anyone's life. My vision for my son, for my baby boy, is to grow up and be a Yankees fan. That's why he's getting so many clothes with the NY logo on it, and hats and pacifiers. It's just full of Yankee stuff. Poor child. It's almost child abuse, I have to say. And I'm often trying to think what was the connection. Well, I know it was the initial connection because I spent some time in New York, and baseball is not that big in Israel, in Europe. So I spent some time in New York and I got to know the game. I was there when the Yankees were making a very nice run, one of their first runs in the 1990s into the playoffs. They actually lost that year. It was 95, the year after they won the World Series, and then I was already back in Israel. But something about baseball, specifically the Yankees, just got to me. And it's sometimes a difficult game to understand, and you need to learn how to watch it, because we are used to watching sports and looking for scoring, whereas in baseball a great game is 0-0. It's a pitcher's duel, and scoring is the rarity, it's not the norm. And these are once you understand that baseball is a pitcher's game, you get a lot more out of it. And I always try to think, what is it about the Yankees that is so appealing besides their beautiful logo, which is so cool these days? You see all the cool teenage girls going with the interlocking N and Y, and most of them, I'm not sure they even know it's a Yankees logo. They think it stands for the city of New York, but it doesn't really matter, because every time they buy a hat, the money comes into the pockets, not mine, the Steinbrenner's pockets, but still all good. Get us more money to buy more players. There are a few things that I really like about the Yankees, and some people are actually bored with these things or think they're archaic. You know that every player who goes to the Yankees, they have to conform to a policy of appearance, which sounds like something from the 1950s. But the late George Steinbrenner actually enacted this policy. They have to be clean shaven, no beard, and no hair below the line of the helmet. They can grow a mustache. Nobody really does it anymore in the 2000s. And it's a funny thing that every player that is traded or signed by the Yankees, they have to shave, they have to cut their hair. And the funnier thing is that every time a player is traded away from the Yankees, the first thing they do is grow a beard, because it's like they get released. And people think it's stupid, but I like this clean shaven thing. I like that it's corporate, that there's something very business oriented about it. And another thing that some people find weird is that most teams, and I think it's all teams, not only in baseball but in most sports, on their jerseys they have the number of the player and then the name. It's like an arch with the name of the player above the number. The Yankees, I think, are one of the only teams, if not the only team, that have only numbers, no names. And it's an ideological decision that no player is bigger than the team. The pinstripes are more important than a specific player, because Yankees lore lives forever. And this is one of the main reasons why I like the Yankees so much, is because I can't be indifferent to their heritage. And now, in many sports, you can argue who's the greatest franchise in history. Is it in basketball the Lakers? Is it the Celtics? Maybe the Bulls? And in football, you can arguments about the 49ers and the Cowboys and the Packers and the New England Patriots. There's so many candidates. In baseball, it's very clear. There's one franchise above all, and it's not because I'm a Yankees fan. 27 world championships in their history. By far the greatest franchise in baseball history. And the players that, don the pinstripes, if it's Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, Joe DiMaggio, Yogi Berra, Whitey Ford, if you look at the top 20 players ever, and all of these personalities, Babe Ruth was the greatest player ever, statistically just unfathomable. In 1927, Babe Ruth hit more home runs than most teams hit combined. One player out-hit entire teams in the number of home runs. Lou Gehrig, the Iron Horse, probably the most emotional character in Yankees history, had to retire because he developed ALS, which is known today as Lou Gehrig's disease, named after him, of course. He had to retire. He died 2 years later in his amazing farewell speech, which I'm pretty sure was July 4th, 1939. And you can see it in the movie The Pride of the Yankees, where he said he feels like the luckiest man on the face of the earth, and he had to retire because he was dying from a disease. And I always give it as an example for someone who's showing utmost respect to life, to his comrades, to his peers, to the profession, and to the spectators. All these amazing people that wore the Yankees uniform. And as the Yankees take the field, they go under a sign that has a quote from the great Joe DiMaggio on it, which I completely understand. And it says, "Thank the good Lord for making me a Yankee." There's something about the Yankees that is bigger than sport. It has values in it. It talks about winning. I just read today, because let me tell you, when I wake up, and this is my protocol for waking up, New York Post, okay, River Avenue Blues, which is a Yankees blog, Pinstripe Alley, which is a Yankees blog. I read 2 Yankees blogs all the time, and the New York Post. That's what I do when I wake up, reading Yankees news. If it's about a game that I couldn't watch because I was asleep, it's 2 a.m. usually when they play in Israel. Or I can watch the game live on MLB TV when I'm awake, because I try to watch as many games as I can every year. And just today I saw one of the guys from the current team, a guy by the name of Chase Headley, our third baseman. And the Yankees are going through a transition this year. They're letting a lot of young players play. They didn't sign any long-term contracts with free agents other than their closer, but they're trying to change the financial model of the Yankees, not just rely on money, which they have a lot of, but try to get more youth into the team and build on in-house, inbred success. And so this year was supposed to be a transition, which means it's like laundry language for a losing season. The Yankees haven't had a losing season in more than 20 years, and they started the season amazingly well. As we speak right now, they're 17-9. They're first place in the American League East. And Chase Headley said today about this transition team and the expectations. He said, when you wear the pinstripes, when you put on the pinstripes, you're expected to win. I love this sentence. I think it encapsulates in one sentence what I love so much about the Yankees culture and the Yankees way of doing business and playing sports. You're expected to win. There are no excuses when you play in New York. New York is a tough city, and the teams that play in New York should represent the mentality of the city. Otherwise, they don't get the respect of the fans. They should play tough, they should be resilient, and they should make zero excuses, because if you can make it there, you can make it anywhere. That's Mr. Sinatra used to say. And we are looking for teams who can be strong, who can show willpower, and who don't succumb to all these excuses. That's why the other team that I like in New York, the Knicks, are so disrespected by the fan base, because this is a team that has been going through 20 years of excuses and failures and experiments, and they don't represent the strength and the spirit of the amazing city that they're supposed to represent. And the Yankees do, and they always, well, I don't know if always, because they have a history of more than 100 years, but they've definitely, throughout the time that I've been a fan, they've represented. They haven't won all the time, all right? They definitely lost quite a few. Since I've been a Yankees fan, they won 96, 98, 99, 2000, and 2009. Only five times, right? You see, I'm spoiled like a typical Yankees fan. 5 championships in 20 years, and I'm spoiled. It's not enough for me. But every year they go into the season, and this is the lesson that I want to share with everyone. Every year they go into the season with one expectation: play in the playoffs and get to the World Series. No excuses. It's not about injuries, it's not about transition, it's not about the amount of players you have that are young, that are unproven, the amount of fading stars that you have. It's about a commitment to winning, and a culture that doesn't accept excuses as anything that can be reckoned with. You either win or you go home. That's a beautiful mentality, I think. I know it's a little bit cruel, it's a little bit harsh, it's a little bit extreme, but that's what makes a winner. And that's what we all want to be, regardless of what we do in life.